Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Asylum117, and this is kind of a bit of a serious video, and it's not gonna be like a haha funny kind of video or any kind of rant video, because the last video I did, I had a mental breakdown, and I apologize for it, for having some emotional issues, but this is like you read in the title. I am kind of kind of disappointed in the animation industry, especially towards Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and even Disney in some regard. I am kind of disappointed how these studios are turning out nowadays. First of all, Rugrats is getting another reboot, and I am getting really sick of reboots, reimaginings, and the way the way it is handled nowadays. I am really disappointed because, like I said, I'm not against reboots, but if you want to do a reboot, then do it right. There have been plenty of reboots that have been really amazing. For example, Justice League. I think that Justice League was a reboot, basically a reboot. Thundercats 2011. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2011. Batman has so many reboots. Transformers Prime, Transformers Animated, and so forward. But nowadays, the way I look at the animated reboots is that I'm really worried, because Rugrats, for example, was a 90s show about, talking babies going on adventures and stuff like that. And it was also really mature, dark in some places, and it was really clever for its time. But making a reboot about talking babies, especially considering that a lot of the original voice actors have passed away, unfortunately, is something I'm not really fond of, because Rugrats is a show that should not be rebooted. If you want to reboot, some things should be rebooted, some things should never be rebooted. Some things should stay as it is. Considering also Disney is making a live action movie of Kim Possible, and the way so-called live action and adaptations of animated shows have been handled in recent years, it is not looking good, and I'm not really very optimistic about the new Kim Possible live action movie, considering Kim Possible is one of my favorite animated shows. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of DVD releases for the show, and there are only like 2 seasons for Kim Possible released on DVD, but those are really rare to find these days. And considering that Kim Possible had 4 seasons actually airing than just 2, but I still love that show, and I really wish Disney could actually release some shows on DVD/Blu-ray correctly. Kim Possible, Recess is also a really good show that really needs more recognition. Actually has really good morals and really interesting characters, and characters that people can even relate to those who actually went to preschool or elementary school. And it could be really interesting to actually have a show that actually teaches kids some valuable lessons, unlike shows nowadays. No, I'm not saying that there haven't been shows with good morals, but the way I see it's basically the way I see it's not looking good. And because a lot of people nowadays are just Cartoon Network especially are cramming in better shows rather than good shows, and good shows have been, like Steven Universe, for example, has been on giant hiatus for so long that it gets so out of hand and really annoying that I'm just giving up on the show as a whole, because the show barely gets any air times, and Teen Titans Go basically airs all the time on the Cartoon Network. And Nickelodeon made another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot, and people are defending this bastardized reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And when I saw the first few minutes of the first episode, I already hated the premise that the show went. It's basically Nostalgia Critic even said that the show has the same problem as Teen Titans Go, and I agree. The fact that we barely get any action cartoons is really disappointing, and the fact that even animated shows nowadays look pretty much using the same cal art style all over the goddamn place, and a lot of people say that why are you dissing cal arts, why are you kind of like a hater or whatever, it's new times, you need to get over the nostalgia blind, you're nostalgic whatever. And I'm really getting sick of this fucking excuse. Like, I'm sorry for my bad language, but I'm really getting sick of this trend. People say you're nostalgia blind, you have this different opinion, you can't criticize something because it's different. But if you don't criticize, if you don't even say anything bad about shows that are being made, like The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls reboot, etc., then we can't move on. There will be no original ideas. We can't move forward. We can't even make something really creative anymore and just make the same shit over and over again. If we don't criticize something, then we can't move forward. Then things will get worse as time moves on. This is my main problem, because this is my main problem with the animation industry, especially with Western animation as a whole, is that people, especially in Cartoon Network, never listen to us. They don't even listen to the facts and the problems we actually point out that need to be fixed. I wouldn't mind Teen Titans Go so much if it didn't air so goddamn much. And it even had a theatrical release, and the fact that it didn't do well in the box office, that Teen Titans Go movie. Think about it. Cartoon Network and even Warner Brothers never thought about why it didn't do well in the box office. Why do you think that is? Because people hate the show. People criticize the show. They want it gone. They want something. They wanted Teen Titans Go. No, I'm not Teen Titans Go, but we wanted Teen Titans Season 6. We wanted a continuation of the original Teen Titans, not whatever this is. There was actually a pilot called The New Teen Titans that actually uses the same art style as the original Teen Titans show, but only made it like a chibified animation and actually made it comedic. But the jokes in the show actually worked because it still felt like the original Teen Titans show. Teen Titans Go, on the other hand, basically insults its own viewers and even the original show's fans, and then basically giving it the biggest middle finger of all time, and giving you false promises, and I am just surprised that people like who create Teen Titans Go or making Thundercats Roar are getting jobs. This is not okay. We want something new. We want something creative. We don't want to see the same art style. We don't want to see another show with 11-minute runtime. Some shows work with 11 runtime, but shows with actual story development, character development, whatever, it needs to run for 22 minutes. Kids have the attention span to watch a show for 22 minutes. Imagine if I showed the original Teen Titans or Batman Beyond to kids in this generation, or Animaniacs even. Animaniacs even has like 22-minute run times, and it's a comedic show. And I saw kids react to Animaniacs, and it clearly shows that kids can enjoy a show with adult humor. They can enjoy something that doesn't talk back to kids' intelligence. They don't talk back to the audience itself. to the target demographic. They can enjoy whatever they want as long as the show has some kind of effort put into it. But nowadays, you cram in Teen Titans Go and you're basically saying, yeah, everything is sunshine and rainbows, whatever. Like, we need, like, variety of shows. We need action cartoons and comedy cartoons. Like, for example, I watched, I have, like, this giant DVD collection of many different shows, movies for animation. I watched, for example, I watched 2 episodes of Teen Titans, then I took out the disc and switched out to Tom and Jerry. I want to watch something that can make me relax and appreciate something more humorous, something in life. When I was young, let me tell you this, when I was young, I was born in 1994. Me and my parents did not have cable. But we had a VHS tape, and when the one thing that introduced me to animation was The Lion King, the 2D animated Lion King that was made by Disney. The Little Mermaid, anything Disney. And ever since I saw these movies, I appreciated 2D animation itself a lot more. I appreciate the effort that people put into these shows, the imagination they put in the visuals, the backgrounds, the characters themselves. I appreciated what they did for children. They created something that anyone in any age could enjoy. But like I said, I lived in an old apartment, but a few years back. We did not have cable, and we didn't have a bath or anything like that. I was still very little. I wasn't like the dumbest kid on the planet, blah blah blah. But me and my dad moved to my dad's sister's place, who's also my aunt, and she had cable. And the first network I watched was Cartoon Network, in English, of course, because for some reason in my country people don't like English for whatever reason. But when I watched Cartoon Network, I was introduced to a lot of shows that I really enjoyed, even Disney in whatever, and I enjoyed watching Courage the Cowardly Dog that had both horror and humor put into the shows, and enjoyed Eden and Eddie, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Megas XLR, the original Ben 10 series, and the list goes on. But what do these shows have that a lot of shows nowadays lack? Character. Even comedy cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory that was made by the legendary Genndy Tartakovsky. Love you, man. I appreciate your hard work. I really wish I could have all 4 seasons, or even the Blu-ray of Samurai Jack for all 5 seasons of Samurai Jack, because I really love that show, and Samurai Jack changed me as a person. But even in Dexter's Laboratory, Genndy was able to make the characters feel like characters, they feel like actual people, even though they're cartoons. You can actually reflect on what the characters are doing, what they are saying. You can really reflect those ideals and the emotions and the emotional moments, or the fact that people forget the past and whatnot. You can actually get invested in these characters, and sometimes you can see yourself in these characters. This is what a lot of cartoons nowadays even lack, especially comedy cartoons, because they barely do put any effort in the writing, in the characters, nothing. Basically just fun humor and nothing else. Butch Hartman, love you, man, but sometimes you can make really bad decisions. Butch Hartman wanted to pitch an idea, a cartoon idea for Cartoon Network called Dynamite. When I saw the original artwork for Dynamite, his original original idea of Dynamite, I loved it. If you guys, I hope you guys, am showing you guys the pictures of Dynamite, the concept, the original concept that the Butch Hartman had. And Cartoon Network said they love the idea, they love everything that Butch Hartman made. But they said something that really grinded my gears. Could you turn it into a comedy? It's not like, oh, I don't know, we have too many comedy cartoons as it is. We need variety in cartoons. We need action cartoons as well. But nowadays we live in a world where everything is political correct, and people are so sensitive nowadays that we can't please anyone anymore. Nowadays people are just going completely insane, and don't even get me started on Western cartoon fandoms. Yeah, boy, this is one of those topics I really don't want to talk about. I actually saw a cartoon Amino app. I saw someone made a blog called Fandom Police, and he made arguments and really logical worries about cartoon fandoms as of nowadays, especially with modern cartoon fandoms as of today. Unfortunately, I could not find more of cartoon fandoms and stuff like that. I think I forgot to follow him, and I apologize, dude. But cartoon fandoms nowadays, oh my god, this is really hard. This is a topic really hard to talk about, especially with the fact that people care more about shipping rather than actual story and character development of the show nowadays. It is really scary. It is really worrying, because this is getting out of hand. Steven Universe fandom and even Voltron Legendary Defender fandom is the worst thing I ever seen. Even the Loud House fandom, it's the worst thing ever. Incest, LGBT, whatever. Now, I'm not saying I'm against LGBT community, whatever. If you guys want to be gay, lesbian, whatever, you can do it. But don't force it down, choke it down towards children. Fucking hell. Kids in a very young age don't develop these kind of feelings. When I saw the DuckTales reboot on YouTube, a clip of something Webby made a friend called... I forgot. I think her name was Luna or something. Yeah, I think it was Luna or something. And I read this comment on YouTube saying they're gonna hook it up. Maybe 7 years old or 8 years old, whatever. Maybe and Lena need to be lesbians, because this is what people care about when watching cartoons or whatever. Shipping fictional characters and nothing more. And this is my biggest problem, especially with the cartoon community, because you can ship whatever you want as long as you don't go overboard with it. But when I go to cartoon Amino app, I can't go 2 seconds without seeing Clans art. What is Clans? It's basically Keith and Lance hooked up together from Voltron Legendary Defender. And this is really kind of annoying, especially with the fandoms threatening a lot of, especially voice actors, creators, when something doesn't go their way. This is madness. This is like, when I see stuff like this, I'm really questioning how far has humanity fallen, and when did it start? And it started with Tumblr, and Facebook wants to sign me up for Instagram or Tumblr, whatever, but I don't want to, because even Instagram itself is like going overboard with this shit, with these fandoms, whatever, and And it is really worrying because Cartoon Network says itself basically don't care about negativity, criticism. They don't want to learn from their mistakes. And when I saw these pitches for Butch Hartman, it really scares me that people don't care about action cartoons anymore. It's like, and then I watched Red Wolf's video. Love your stuff, man. I appreciate you actually saying your concerns about the modern cartoons. I appreciate that. And when I talk about stuff like this, a lot of people don't are disagreeing or don't listen to me because I have poor equipment or not. But it is really worrying that action cartoons are becoming less and less popularized and less made. We have the same animation, we have 11-minute runtimes, everything centers around comedy and whatnot. And some shows even are on goddamn hiatus. And it is worrying. And I'm really worried because people always don't want to look at these things and question themselves, or maybe we were not right to support or defend shows like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We actually want quality content. Now, don't get me wrong, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it has really amazing animation, especially with action scenes. But just because you make good animation and action scenes and make characters stupid does not make it right, especially with how you made Splinter in the show. And I don't know what to do, guys. Like, I want to write, I want to buy a bunch of papers, I want to sharpen my pencil and try again to create something memorable, try to something amazing, an action cartoon with magic, with super villains, with actual real life situations, and this is what is lacking within with modern cartoons, especially that had high stakes and that doesn't involve 100% romance and whatnot. And the fact that 2D animation, especially by Disney, is being dropped and now replaced with live action remakes is even more worrying because we barely have any variety, we barely have any originality, and it is really scaring me. Like, this is really getting out of hand because if I actually was able to pitch a show, there's no way Cartoon Network or even Nickelodeon would actually accept a show that I have in mind. Hell, even Disney would not even allow it. The only place I might have a chance is Netflix, and that is really scary because when I was younger, I actually wanted to actually work on Cartoon Network. I actually wanted to create a memorable show because I remember the Cartoon Network had a variety of shows that anyone in any age could enjoy. But nowadays it is gone. It's basically lifeless. Yes, people might argue with the fact that we have Steven Universe. Why are there are no yes, there are bad cartoons, but we have Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, blah 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 blah. Like, people are not even listening to the fact that, first of all, Gravity Falls has ended. Adventure Time barely airs. Has ended. Steven Universe also barely airs, and he's on a long ass hiatus. And we get Teen Titans Go and nothing else basically. Like people want to say we have good shows. Yes, we have good shows, but we barely see them. I barely see them. I don't rewatch Steven Universe because Steven Universe has become kind of stale and not very interesting for me, at least, and I want some variety. Even Troll Hunters tries to do action. It has a very good story, I'm not gonna lie, but the way the humor is handling the show is so cringy. Like, don't get me wrong, Guillermo del Toro, I love your stuff, man. But please, you do not know how comedy works, or the one who writes the comedy in the show. I love your work, man, but The comedy in Troll Hunters is not very good. It is very cringe-worthy. Sometimes I had to bash my head and just try to pull myself together to go through this cringe-worthy, stupid jokes or whatever that are outdated as all hell. And in Voltron Legend Defender, it has the same problem as Legend of Korra, and it is humor, and the humor is so over the top and zany that it doesn't. I'm not against humor being brought in action cartoons, especially for like shows like Teen Titans or Avatar: The Last Airbender, and even Samurai Jack, for example, has some humor brought into the mix. But the way they do it is they don't make the jokes so over the top. It basically kills the tone of the show. A lot of cartoons nowadays, I notice, have this problem, the tone shift with the story and the show itself. For example, Star Wars for Evil, I actually liked that it was it was a regular zany adventure with two pals going crazy on the crazy adventures, and then later on, season 2 comes along and basically changes the tone of the show, making it a darker, story-driven show. Like, it is complete tone shift. Like, it's not like I'm against it, but the problem with modern cartoons I notice is that people working on these shows don't know what kind of genre they want to make. At the start they're making a comedy and then making a serious show, and they don't. Guys, pick one genre and stick with it. And in any comedy cartoon, understandable. Courage the Cowardly Dog, courage, horror and comedy show, understandable. Batman Beyond, action, plot-driven, character-developed show, understandable. Steven Universe, comedy, 50% comedy, 50% serious, emotional stuff. See the problem with here. If you want to make a show, then stick with one genre and make that kind of show. Stop changing the tone of the show. It is really distracting, first of all, and it can confuse viewers. And let's not forget that a lot of modern cartoons nowadays, especially nowadays, today's day and age, and whatever, is the fact that when you watch like an episode and people talk about what happened previously, and these big companies barely aired the previous episodes to not understand what happened previously. Adventure Time has this problem a lot, and if you don't watch one episode, then you're basically missed out the entire story of the show, and it is really distracting. Like, in Batman, the animated series, they have like 2 parts of the single episode. If you missed the episode, then it basically says previously on Batman, and it explains what happened in the previous episode, so you don't get confused or what happens in this episode, and what are you doing in this episode, and what people are doing in this episode, and what people are doing in this episode, what they done in the previous episode. Sorry, I just can't talk today. But this is my problem with modern cartoon companies, especially with cartoon community as a whole, is that yes, you can like whatever you want, but if we don't let out these problems that these modern cartoons are having, then what is the point of making creative, original ideas? There are a lot of people with original, creative, and imaginative ideas. But if these big companies with the power of money, they don't care about creativity or even, the balance of shows. I actually watched another video about the previous Cartoon Network president that did the live action disaster, but But after later on, when he removed Toonami and brought it back a year later, he learned from his mistakes. He stopped airing live action shows. He pitched Adventure Time, a regular show, and balanced out both action and comedic shows. And Cartoon Network wanted 11 more minute runtimes for shows, only 11 minutes for every show. But the previous CEO of Cartoon Network, before Christina Miller time, said this. I also saw it on, maybe also on Red Wolf's video. But what about variety? We need variety of shows. If every show was 11 minutes long, then there won't be any variety of shows anymore. And because of that, he was disagreeing with these bigger companies, these bigger CEOs, these managers, whatever, and he left Cartoon Network, and they brought Christina Miller, who did everything being controlled by these manipulative people, and and made Teen Titans Go and pitched the idea and whatnot. Like, what do you guys think about this? Like, what do you guys really think about this? Like, this is not a funny haha video kind of video. I am really serious about what you guys really think about, you know, these modern cartoonists, cartoon programs, whatnot, etc. And what do you really guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Like this video and share this video with others to actually spread this message, this serious message about modern cartoons. And I don't want to live in a world where originality and hard work and effort is being shoved aside and not picked up again, being forgotten. This is Psalm 117 signing off. And I hope you guys have a better day, because in 2 weeks I will start college soon, so I might not have much time to do videos anymore. So yeah, see you guys later.